Hello and welcome to YNWA Transfer News, your ultimate source for all Liverpool FC transfer news. Our first news is this. Arne Slot makes Liverpool transfer comment amid Isak and Guehi interest. Arne Slot has hinted that Liverpool will make new signings in the final few days of the transfer window as they continue to be linked with Alexander Isak and Mark Guehi. Newcastle United rejected a £110 million bid for the striker from the Reds earlier this month as they desperately try to hold on to their star player. Isak has been omitted from the squad for both of the Magpies' opening 2 Premier League games after telling the club he wants a move to Anfield. He is also training separately from the rest of the squad. Meanwhile, Liverpool are also trying to sign Mark Guehi from Crystal Palace to strengthen a back line that was exposed by Bournemouth and Newcastle over the past 2 weeks. Guehi is in the final year of his contract, and Palace want to sell him before the window closes rather than lose him for nothing next summer. The centre-back is reportedly willing to run his deal down. Arne Slot makes Liverpool transfer comment amid Alexander Isak. Interest Slot says Liverpool will sign new players if they can improve the team. But it has to be the right player for the right money. As always, we try to sign players that can help, but there is no reason to complain after the first 2 games that we need more, the Dutchman said during his press conference on Friday. But if we can strengthen, we will if it is the right money and the right player. But there are only 3 to 4 days left, so let's see if we do something. With Liverpool entertaining Premier League rivals Arsenal on Sunday, Slot says the title could be won with another low points tally, as his side did last season. You do. Play better later in the season so you can lose ground early, but not a lot, he said. Although, I would be surprised if there will be a points record, and a team gets more than 100 points because of the strength in the league. So you are able to drop a few points and still be competitive. But the best thing is not to drop points. 525M Liverpool hypothesis speaks volumes about Fsg's Alexander Isak endgame. I assure you, if this transfer pantomime for the ages ends with Alexander Isak at Anfield, there is a good chance that the total value of the deal will eclipse the sum Fsg paid to buy Liverpool, the entire club, in 2010. Fenway Sports Group paid about $300 million to acquire 100% control of Liverpool 15 years ago, also clearing the club's debts once the takeover from Tom Hicks and George Gillett was complete. Today, Liverpool are reportedly ready to submit a bid worth $130 million before add-ons for Alexander Isak, and Newcastle United's imminent capture of Nick Woltemade from Stuttgart could grease the wheels for Liverpool's busy dealmakers. Isak's weekly wage at Anfield would be at least $300,000, which equates to almost $80 million over the course of a 5-year deal. Add in national insurance, bonuses, image rights, and other provisions, and the total outlay will, at a very conservative estimate, be closer to $110 million, a 10% agent fee, a 4% Premier League transfer levy, and 5%. FIFA-mandated solidarity payment to Isak's former clubs increased the total value by another $25 million. If the 25-year-old lives up to his vaunted potential, add-ons could quite conceivably take Liverpool's outlay towards that $300 million mark. These are dizzying numbers, especially when compared to where football finance was when Fsg bought the club. Liverpool's annual wage bill when John Henry, Tom Werner, and the rest of Fenway's top brass pitched up on Merseyside in 2010 was $114 million. Their turnover at the time was $185 million. Fast forward 15 years, and Liverpool's revenue for 2024 to 25 is expected to be confirmed at over $700 million once their accounts are released next February, while wages will surpass $400 million. According to most analysis, the club's enterprise value has risen even quicker. Liverpool are worth somewhere in the region of 4 or 5 billion. The most remarkable feature of Fsg's reign has been that, in an era where ineffective financial controls and the rise of sovereign wealth has sent the game into an inflationary spiral, everything the Boston-based owners have done has been within their means. And if Isak signs before the window shuts at 7:00 p.m. on Monday, The deal will adhere to the same principles of self-sufficiency. Alexander Isak deal could have seen Liverpool breach UEFA FFP without unprecedented player sale profits. Liverpool's transfer business so far this summer has cost them close to 240. Isak would take that to 370 million at the very least. And yet, under the Premier League's Profit and Sustainability Rules, PSR, the Reds have never had even a hint of anxiety thanks to soaring revenues and masterful cost control from FSG. I assure you that Liverpool will have taken a deep and forensic analysis of their spending plans for A, the current year, and B, the next 2 years, explains Liverpool University football finance lecturer Kieran Maguire, speaking exclusively to TBR Football. That will be flexible depending on the level of success on the pitch. The biggest driver will be the Champions League. Liverpool's participation in the Champions League means that it isn't just PSR that they have to worry about, however. They are UEFA's football earnings test and squad cost ratio rules too. The football earnings test, which restricts losses for clubs deemed to be in good financial health to around 75 barriers after allowable costs over a rolling 3-season period, was never going to be an issue. But for Michael Edwards, Richard Hughes, and Arne Slot to realize their lofty ambitions in the transfer market this summer, Liverpool did need to make adjustments to ensure compliance with UEFA's squad cost limit. This element of UEFA FFP, as it is still colloquially known, limits clubs' spending on player and manager wages, transfers and agents' fees to 70% of calendar year revenue, plus a 3-season average of profit on player sales. In 2024-25, according to analysis from the football finance analyst Greg Cordell, Liverpool's revenue is likely to have been just shy of $719 million. Their profit on player sales, which is calculated based on players' amortized book value offset against sale price, in the last 2 seasons, meanwhile, equates to just 31 million. Assuming similar revenue for the calendar year, that would give them a squad cost limit of 525 million. Their amortization was approximately 110 million per Cordell's analysis, while their wage bill probably passed the 400 million mark. Around 75% of that is attributable to player and manager wages, so the relevant wage bill is around 300 million for UEFA squad cost purposes. Their business so far this summer has added approximately 50 million net in amortization costs, plus 20 million in wages. Based on Cordell's estimates, that would take their relevant wage bill to 320 million and their transfer amortization to 160 million. Add Isak's potential 15.6 million salary and annual amortization of around 30 million, and Liverpool would have been creeping over the squad cost limit of 525 million. However, Liverpool have had their best ever summer in terms of player sale profits. And remember, that's in terms of accounting profit, not the fees for which now sold players initially signed for the club. By TBR Football's calculations, Liverpool's sales have generated profits of 151.5 million, which is higher even than in 2017-18, when they sold Philippe Coutinho to Barcelona for 142 million. That in turn brings their 3-year player sale profit average to 71 million, and increases their squad cost limit to around 553 million, meaning that they will have ample room for maneuver even if Isak is signed. They are rough figures, and the fact that UEFA's is a calendar year test means the true totals will be different. But even this rough calculation illustrates the importance of Liverpool's sales this summer. There is still scope for Liverpool to reduce costs over the course of the next 3 years. They have no problems whatsoever in the current market. Maguire tells TBR Football they could sign Alexander Isak with ease, even at the full asking price and sky-high wages. They have absolutely nothing to worry about. They have got the Adidas deal, which has kicked in with record sales. There are significant wage earners, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Luis Diaz, Darwin Núñez, and so on, who are off payroll too. There is pure profit on the sale of Jarell Quansah, and not far off pure profit off Ben Doak too. Liverpool's Champions League bonanza could pay Isak transfer fee in 2021. Liverpool co-launched the star-crossed European Super League a mere 24 hours before UEFA were set to vote on the introduction of a new format for the Champions League. Because of the Super League crisis, that vote got put on the back burner. But the 36-team format, which was introduced last season, was itself designed to placate clubs like Liverpool who felt they were being sold short by UEFA and wanted to create their own franchise-style competition. The Swiss model, Champions League, has been a ripping success for the likes of Liverpool, who earned around $85 million during their run to the quarterfinals last season. With Slot's side virtually guaranteed to finish in the top 24 this season, they can also bank on 5 home matches at Anfield, each worth around $5 million. That means they will almost certainly break the 100 million mark from the Champions League all told. Go deep into the tournament, and they could even earn enough cash to fund most of Isak's would-be British record transfer fee. The structures of European football mean that FSG are confident that a 130-meter-plus outlay on one player can be cost-effective. Liverpool continuing talks to sign Crystal Palace's Guehi. Liverpool have reportedly been continuing talks to sign Crystal Palace star Mark Guehi, as per transfer journalist Graham Bailey. Despite winning the Premier League title, last term the Reds have decided to overhaul their squad this summer. Taueem Kelleher, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Jarell Quansah, Darwin Núñez, and Luis Diaz have left the club, while Kostas Tsimikas and Harvey Elliott have been heavily linked. With a move away, Georgi Mamardashvili, Jeremy Frimpong, Florian Wirtz, Milos Kerkez, Giovanni Leoni, and Hugo Ekitike have joined. However, it appears Arne Slot's side are planning to make a few more new acquisitions before the September 1st transfer deadline. Purchasing Alexander Isak has been a long-standing desire of Liverpool, and the player is also desperate to move to Anfield. Newcastle United weren't allowing his departure, but after deciding to purchase Nick Woltemade from Stuttgart, they might change their stance. Now, on TBR Football, Bailey says that despite already purchasing Leoni, Liverpool want a new centre-back, and Guehi is the priority target. The 25-year-old has entered the final few months of his current contract and is ready to leave Selhurst Park to take the next step in his career. His preference is to join Liverpool. Crystal Palace are prepared to let him leave to avoid losing him for free next year and have slapped a $40 million price tag on his head. Guehi to Liverpool. Liverpool have been continuing talks with the South London club to seal the deal throughout this summer, and they might finally be able to sign him, as the Eagles were willing to keep hold of him until their Conference League qualification tie. They have managed to win the tie 1-0 on aggregate over the 2 legs, and they may finally decide to sanction his departure. Liverpool have struggled with defensive frailties early on this season, conceding 6 goals in 3 games. Ibrahima Konate and Virgil van Dijk are the 2 primary center-back options Arne Slot currently has, so signing a new defender is absolutely necessary for Liverpool to challenge on all fronts this campaign, as Leoni is still very young. It is going to be interesting to see whether the Merseyside club eventually manage to secure his service before next week's transfer deadline. Liverpool get green light for late hijack to sign. Next, Rio Ngumoha. All the talk is about Rio Ngumoha at the moment, but Liverpool can hijack a transfer to sign another gem from Chelsea. Over the years, we've seen so many players who didn't quite make the grade at Stamford Bridge become absolute legends at Liverpool. We're talking about not just Ngumoha, but Mohamed Salah and Daniel Sturridge, maybe even Mark Guehi soon. That Chelsea to Liverpool pathway is a successful one. Ngumoha is just the latest talent to prove it. At Liverpool, he's been able to get a quick route into the first team, something Chelsea never really assured him with their mass spending. Now the Reds should repeat the process for another Chelsea outcast, with the doors opening for Liverpool to make a move before the transfer deadline on Monday. According to Fabrizio Romano, Tyreek George is in talks with Roma over a permanent transfer. Romano claims that Chelsea want a permanent transfer and not a loan. Right now, the two clubs are still under negotiations, which means the doors are open for Liverpool to make a move. George has made it clear he wants to leave Stamford Bridge, and that's a green light for the Reds to try to hijack a deal. At the end of the day, the club is still looking to add one more versatile player to their ranks, even after Alexander Isak's arrival. George is the perfect profile for what the Reds are looking for. He's young, and he is versatile. He can play on the left, but he can also play through the middle and on the right wing as well. He's had an impressive senior breakout campaign for Chelsea and has averaged 0.65 goal contributions per 90 minutes at senior level in his career so far. Those are solid numbers, and they are a sign of exciting potential. As we mentioned, Liverpool are good at maximizing that potential from players Chelsea discard too. Just take Ngumoha as an example. Liverpool gave him what Chelsea could not. It was the same for Daniel Sturridge and Mohamed Salah, not to mention Dominic Solanke and Ryan Brewster. All of them have either become a success story at Liverpool or were sold on for major profit, which was the case for Solanke and Brewster. The fact of the matter is that Liverpool have made a transfer trend of signing players from Chelsea, and George should be another one the club should be all over. He fits the bill of what they will be looking for and would be an excellent addition. Liverpool transfer news as Reds close in on long-awaited double deal. The pieces appear to be falling into place to facilitate moves to Liverpool for both Alexander Isak and Isak Guehi. The Reds already have spent a lot of money this summer, signing Florian Wirtz, Hugo Ekitike, Milos Kerkez, Jeremy Frimpong, and Giovanni Leone, while Georgi Mamardashvili also goes down as a 2025 transfer on the books, despite his move to Anfield being agreed a year ago. That spend has been offset by significant player sales, leaving the Reds with a sizable budget for further additions before the window closes on Monday. The Isak saga has dominated the window, and the Swede's heart remains set on a move to Anfield, having made himself unavailable for selection by Newcastle since before the club's preseason tour of China, which began over a month ago. Liverpool saw an initial bid of just under $150 million for Isak rejected earlier in August, and the emphatic nature of Newcastle's rejection discouraged the Reds from returning with a second bid unless they received encouragement that a deal could be done. That encouragement came in the form of Newcastle agreeing to sign Nick Woltemade from Stuttgart this week, and an official announcement confirming the German's arrival in the Northeast is expected imminently. Woltemade is viewed by Newcastle as a direct replacement for Isak, which surely means the Swede will end up moving to Liverpool before the closure of the transfer window. Meanwhile, a deal to sign Guehi could be moving closer after the BBC reported that Crystal Palace is working to sign 2 new centre-backs ahead of Monday's deadline. That's despite Oliver Glasner saying he was intent on keeping hold of Guehi for the 2025-26 season, because there is not enough time to sign an adequate replacement for his captain. From my side, he has to still be a Crystal Palace player because it's not possible at the moment to find a Isak Guehi replacement who can play straight. In the Premier League, being a starter, being consistent, Glasner said. Palace has agreed a deal to sign young French defender J.D. Canvat from Toulouse, while the Selhurst Park Club is interested in Manchester City defender Manuel Akanji. Akanji is said to be uncertain about joining Palace, but the South London club is not short of other targets, with Ousmane Diomande and Evan Ndicka said to be on its shortlist. Despite Glasner's reluctance to lose Guehi, it is reported that Palace as a club does not want to lose the England international on a free transfer next year, so Guehi could end up being sold to Liverpool against the manager's wishes. Arne Slot reported no fresh injury concerns and said Connor Bradley and Alexis McAllister have trained this week ahead of Liverpool's meeting with Arsenal. Bradley came off the bench during Monday night's 3-2 win at Newcastle United after missing the Reds' previous 2 games, but McAllister was absent from the matchday squad. Slot also confirmed Virgil van Dijk is fit to face the Gunners in Sunday's Premier League clash at Anfield after being on the receiving end of a tackle that resulted in Anthony Gordon being sent off on Tyneside. The Champions head coach was asked if he has any new fitness worries during Friday morning's pre-match press conference and replied, "No, I don't think so. I think the positive is that Connor Bradley only had 1 or 2 training sessions before the Newcastle game. He has trained this week the whole week. Well, not the whole week as there are still 2 days to go. McAllister has also started training again, so I don't think we had any injuries coming out of that game at Newcastle. No. And Virgil is also okay." Thank you for watching. Like and comment, subscribe.